Hey everyone, welcome back to Teensy Vintage. This is Teresa. I am working in my junk journal today. As you can see, it is made up of all kinds of paper sizes and various things. And today I'm working on a page that is a little fragile in the sense of my spine needs to be reinforced. So what I'm doing is adding a little bit of low-tack tape with glue. Since it's low-tack tape, I didn't have any masking tape on hand, and just putting that there so that one, if I use some wet media, it doesn't go through, and two, it just kind of helps those pages get a little strength and stick together. All right, so now we're starting off with a bunch of papers. Some of these are gel plate prints that I made a while back. This one is from an old math book, which I found at an estate sale. You can find cool stuff at estate sales for your art, y'all, so just keep an eye out. This math book was old and it had a lot of really kitschy math problems in it, and I just thought it was really cute. Also, love the bright orange and pink on it. So we're just going to go ahead and glue that down. And today, instead of doing a wet media background, today we're doing a collage background. And sometimes when you're not sure where to start, the easiest thing to do is to just get some dictionary pages and start tearing them up and gluing them down on your page. That's a great way to break a page. So, yeah. And I pulled out some other pages too, and you can see these have more of a blue-green color. I just picked out things that caught my eye that I like. You don't have to have a grand scheme in mind. In fact, I had no idea what I was going to make when I sat down. So here we are. I'm using this plastic scraper to make sure that I get a even adhesion, get all any and all glue bubbles, air bubbles out, not glue bubbles. What are glue bubbles? Anyway, just gluing paper down and having a ball. Using a glue stick, it's really easy and fun, and I had a great time making this page. So there's another math page. While I was making this, tearing that up, I noticed a fun sentence, which you will see later will be my sentiment on this page. So sometimes you get a little bit of serendipity, which is nice. Also cutting out a little snippet there for inclusion in my next snippets collection, which if y'all don't know, I have a snippets page available on my Ko-Fi, and I will link that in the description if you want to get a copy of that for your junk journal. All right, so now we're just still gluing things down. There's a piece of map, there's a scrap of some kind of handwriting, um, just a big mishmash. Dictionary pages. I think there was like, yeah, scrapbook paper, whatever I had in my scraps box that caught my eye. Sometimes you need to just empty out your scraps box, and one way to do that is to make a background with what you have in there. I know it's very easy to hoard delicious papers. Believe me, I love paper. But what's the point of hoarding it if you're not going to use it? So let's get off our piles of gold dragons and put our paper in our work. All right, so I'm really happy with this. And we're done gluing, as far as I know. I think so, yeah. So now I'm going to audition a few possible focal points. And I try out these ladies, but none of them are really working. And that's okay. So let's see what else we can do. Let's try a little stenciling. This is a lovely stencil from, let's see. Oh, who's this? Cartabella. And this stencil is called Simple Things Stencil. I know, very creative name. It's just a bunch of marks. And yes, I could go in and make marks with a paint pen or a marker, but there's something really satisfying about using a stencil to me. So we're going to do that. And I'm just gluing down a little loose edge there. All right, so we've got our Payne's Gray acrylic, and we're just sponging it on. We're using our good old cosmetics wedge to apply this in a nice, even layer. This particular paint is a bit on the translucent side, so I go over the stencil multiple times to get a nice um, coverage. And we're just going to go around the whole page and put some stencil wherever we feel like it. Yeah, there's some in that corner. We'll put a little bit in the middle, and we'll put a little bit down at the bottom left. You might also want to consider using a scrap paper to put between pages if you're doing something in a junk journal that has odd-sized pages. If you don't want to get your current work on your former work, which I don't. Now we're going to put a little bit of purple on here. This is a Deco Arts acrylic paint. This is craft paint, but much nicer craft paint. And it's in a color called Purple Pizzazz, which is very 80s sounding to me, and I love it. This is a very playful purple, and I'm just going in. I added a little bit of water to thin it out, and I'm going in with a paintbrush to cover up some of these white spaces, so the dictionary pages, that kind of thing, just to bring more color in. I love color. Color's great. Color makes me happy. I feel like there's a lot of beige in the world these days, beige and gray, and I call it grayish. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, that's fine if that's your jam, but frankly, I love color. My house is a very colorful house. So, you'd walk in the door and you'd know right away that I like color. All right. So, now we've added more color. Yay! And I've left a few things still kind of white because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So, I didn't make everything purple. Because I feel like, we need a little zhuzhing. So I'm going to bring out the gesso. And now what I'm doing is just lightly applying some white gesso. And what I'm doing is kind of toning down this background a little bit. I am blurring the lines between the pieces of paper that I've glued down to kind of soften everything and make everything look like it's connected. Kind of more organic, if that makes sense. And here I'm just putting that extra gesso on another page in the junk journal so that, it doesn't go to waste. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with that page, but that's a tomorrow problem. All right. Yeah, you can see other pieces there. There's a video I made a couple years ago with that lady and the cat. Now I'm going to just make sure it's dry. Yeah, that dried pretty quickly. All right. If you like this video, that'd be great if you'd hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any other videos that I make. I am almost at the 1,000 subscriber mark, and it would really make my day if you subscribed. So thanks for watching, y'all. All right, so now we've got our little fella here. I'm going to go around the edges of this guy because they are bright white, and I really just want to kind of darken them a little bit with the vintage photo ink so that he's not as separate looking. It's all about fooling the eye. I've brought out my Stabilo All pencil and we're going to highlight this piece of paper. I'm turning it into a pillar that he can lean on. I'm also going to bring out a little bit of acrylic ink in yellow and I'm going to use my wet brush to move that around the page. That was my missing thing. This really just takes the page to the next level for me. It's a very bright pop of color and draws the eye, and I'm kind of got it going in a diagonal from the bottom left to the top right. And so we'll glue him down with a little bit of art glitter glue, which is a great glue, very strong, dries super fast. And we'll press it down with a paper towel so we don't smudge anything. All right, this is coming together really nicely. Okay, so remember earlier I said I saw a sentence I really liked in that math book. Well, I'm now using that sentence as my sentiment. I'm going to go around the edges with some more of the vintage photo ink, and I'm going to audition the sentiment around the page. Try and find out where it needs to go. And I decide, you know what, it's better cut up than as a long strip. So we're going to cut it up into 3 little pieces and add the brown ink to the edges. It just kind of gives it an aged look. I decide, you know what, the white on white, there's not enough contrast. So I've brought my pencil back. We're going to give young Mr. Jack here a place to stand. And I'm using the pencil to create a darker kind of area, just kind of a little gray clouds, so to speak, that the sentiment can sit on, and so there'll be contrast, and you can see it and read it easily. It got lost in the white gesso, so we had to do something. So now we'll just take a little bit of art glitter glue and stick that down to our page. Jack plans to buy. Oh, sorry. Jack plans to sell 36 rabbits, which is a completely random sentence, but you know what? I like to have silliness in my journals. So here we are. Okay, that's it, y'all. Thanks for watching as always, and I will see you next time.